I meet people at least in their late 30s that are natives to Arizona, and I mention Jan Young, and they go, yeah, I know who that is. I know who she is. She's well known in Tempe.
In 1957, when I started at ASC, I had a photography class, and the professor was Ed Peplow, and his lab assistant was a woman by the name of Ethel Karshner. And that's how I knew Jan Young, because that was her original name, was Ethel Karshner.
But when she came to work for the Tempe Daily News, by the time she started doing pictures, she started calling herself by her middle name and then took the name of Young. She was married again. She was a great person to work with. We had a lot of fun together because we covered a lot of things together.
Even back when she was Ethel, she had the proverbial trench coat, and that was kind of her trademark.
I remember the trench coat. She still had her Sally Jesse Raphael glasses, the big red ones, and she always carried around that camera. She always kept that camera in her, at least one of those cameras in the trunk of her car, just in case she needed to take pictures. She needed to be prepared.
Even in the middle of summer, she'd be out shooting something, and you know, where the rest of us would wear shorts and t-shirts, she had her trench coat, and she carried her Rolleiflex, and that was her signature in her VW Bug.
People thought she was quirky, but she used the raincoat because she carried all of her camera stuff in it, the film and the light flash bulbs and everything.
She was a 2 1/4 photographer, which meant she used a Rolleiflex. That's all she used. She prided herself in being able to set things up, get the exposure and everything else right, and would shoot one shot and then leave. And which surprised some people, because other photographers would go and they'd shoot like 35 millimeters, something like that, and they'd shoot maybe 10 or 15 frames, select the best and print that. But she was a person that had a vision of what she wanted, and she would set that up and do it.
She posed her shots. Until she got people set up just like she wanted them. She didn't take a picture. So when she took a picture, she had what she wanted, and that was it.
Just being on point, meticulous, detailed, making sure that everything goes perfect the first time around.
She just believed in every frame you expose should be right. And she was a perfectionist that way. So the population was fairly small, and most people, that's the way they got their news, is through the Tempe Daily News. Our circulation was about 16,000, and it varied between 16 and 20,000, and that was basically the population of Tempe.
Everything was happening in Tempe from about the last half of the 60s through the 70s. Everything was moving out of downtown. It was moving south. As the new shopping centers opened up, the one on Mill, Mid Valley Fair, and Bayless Shopping Center, and the residential area was moving out, and the population was growing. I think by the end of the 70s, it was over 100,000.
The Tempe Daily News was like a part of the fabric that was woven in the community. The community was still pretty small, and there was, you know, where there are houses now, there were cotton fields.
The Phoenix papers did not cover most of the rest of the valley at that time. Tempe was small, Mesa was small, and they just kind of, if we had a murder or something like that, they might cover it, but they didn't cover much of the news, the things that were going on that Tempeans were interested in knowing about, but wouldn't have known about if we hadn't had the Tempe Daily News.
The Tempe Daily News was like a large family, and everybody, you know, knew everybody. It was a very, very nice atmosphere to work.
We were their only source of news about Tempe. The Republic didn't cover us. We were country cousins out here.
Having this is super exciting because now they get to see what a big part of Arizona in general, not just Tempe, but Arizona that Grandma was, and the impact that she had on so many different people.
She loved Tempe. She loved photography. She loved working with people. She was just a good friend to have around. She was my good friend for many years.